Hello, my name's Andrew Cox, and I'm a technology specialist here at Microsoft. I wanted to share over the next few minutes a little bit about my recent journey in diagramming the ecosystem of some of the chatbots and the technologies we use. So I've got a few versions and iterations of this diagram that you see on screen, and I'll walk through a few pieces of it with you and just kind of talk through my thought process. Now, granted, everybody understands visual information differently, so I wouldn't say that this is the right way to do it. It's just a little bit about how I took this project on for myself, and hopefully it helps others as well. So starting with my initial diagram, you see it on screen here. There are a handful of elements, and I've added in some of these arrows, for example, to try to show some of the flow between these different pieces. And to a degree, this works, though my challenge was that I took a step back at really all the pieces of the ecosystem, and it wasn't all there, at least not everything I wanted to communicate. So I went on to version 2, and you see that. Let me get that into focus. We have more elements. I've added in some more modules or more pieces to this map, and I've actually taken out most of the arrows except for a few of them. And as I thought about this, I tried to organize these elements in major groups, and you see them here, but they're not necessarily labeled. So I look at this, and I still don't think it's effective as it could be. So on to version 3. And what I've done here is really organized everything in a grid. You can see that there are implied channels or swim lanes here that I think make the user focus their attention in a way that show how these are related. Now, as I took a step back and looked at this, I wanted to give it some common labels as well, so I went back in and I added these intelligence, integrations, and presentation layer here to make it a little more clear as to exactly what's going on. Now, the other piece I thought about was adding some arrows, and I tried this a number of ways, and I'll just do that with you live here. So I tried doing just a standard, straight arrow, and what you can start to see is that this works to a degree, but I still think it gets somewhat messy. And I take a look at that and I think, you know what, I don't know if that conveys the information that I want to quickly enough. So what if I did sort of a wispy type of arrow? It's a little cleaner, a little more organic. I like the look of that to a degree better, but I still don't think that it's clean enough. So here's what I came up with, and I'm just going to drag over to my final version. It's the same thing that you see here, and I'm really just using these brackets. And I took a little bit of time making sure these are straight. And what I want to point out here is that notice that I didn't diagram every single piece here, every single iteration. I have brackets at a high level, and I even got a couple little connectors down here for this integrations piece, but I wanted to keep it simple, only enough information to convey relationships, but not so much that it was visually messy. For example, I could have taken on the presentation side more arrows and connected these all to the user, but I thought, why? That's pretty self-explanatory in that regard. So I just left it as it is. So there you go. There's a short journey into my process for creating visual diagrams. This one's a little different than what I've typically get involved in that I wanted to create something that could be used for training purposes and really to teach others along the way as they're learning, in this case, about chatbots with Microsoft Dynamics and Azure and all those cognitive services that are really better together. So I hope that's helpful, and keep up your own journey on whiteboarding and visual communication. Thank you.